All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video, another NBA playoff video. In this video, we're going to recap 6 games from the last 2 days, talk about who won, who lost, some things I liked, some things I didn't, and just give you an overall view of what's going on in the playoffs in the NBA as a whole. So if you like what I say, like the video. If you have any opinions, comment it down below. And if you just like the vibes, consider subscribing. We do have a lot to get to today. We have also some non-playoff news. We have some additional news. And I do want to say here at the beginning, we hit 15 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for 15. Whoever you are, the 15th, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy this content. NBA stuff, WNBA stuff, just basketball stuff in general. Please enjoy. And yeah, let's get in. There's a lot of stuff, man. Let's just jump right into it. I also have a complaint. This early in the video. Um, why are we doing 3 games at once? NBA. Why are we 2 games, 3 games on at the same time? Like, I know you don't want to start games at 11 o'clock at night Eastern time. You know, I know that's not the thing you want to do, but can we not do 3 games at once? Like literally. If we're gonna do 3 games at once, can you at least tell Peacock to put a multi view in or something like Amazon has? Because granted, the multi view doesn't help too much, but at least I have it like in a little corner box in the corner of my TV, and I have the main game on. Because which one is it? The Thunder Suns game was on the same time as this Detroit Pistons Orlando Magic game, and the Thunder and um, Suns had a pretty interesting game until it wasn't. But I wanted to watch a little bit of it. I wanted to see it on the side, and I just couldn't. So I did watch the highlights for that. But speaking of Orlando Magic versus the Detroit Pistons, this is one of the more intriguing series as we've gone through these playoffs and gone through these series. The Orlando Magic won this game 94 to the Detroit Pistons 88. And there's a lot of questions swirling, being down 3-1. I do have notes here about the game, basically about like the latter half of the game, because the first half of the game was literally just them going back and forth, and you don't want to hear me describe that. Um, but let's do the game first, and then we'll talk about the questions swirling for the Detroit Pistons, because Detroit Pistons fans, I won't say aren't happy, but they're kind of just disappointed, and Orlando Magic fans are just riding a high, which is they rightfully so. Um, Let me see my notes here. My notes early on here is the Orlando Magic carrying over the same energy from the last few games, and when you just look at the matchups as a whole, and you look at just the basic X's and O's and the matchups, player to player, individually. Um, all the problems that people thought the Pistons would have that I voiced concerns about at least a little bit, saying they need a second ball handler. They need somebody who can really create their own shot outside of Cade Cunningham. And you're relying on like a Tobias Harris type at this moment, and literally Tobias Harris himself at this point. He gave you 20 points and he gave you 6 rebounds. Probably the least effective 20 points I've ever seen in the playoffs. Like, it was just a nothing burger 20 points. I didn't feel him at any point during this game. Jalen Duren has looked like a mess. 12 points, 8 rebounds. Cade Cunningham 25, getting doubled every time down by this long, lengthy, hard nosed Orlando Magic team. 25 points, 7 for 23 from field goal, 3 of 11 from three, and took 10 free throws made out of them. 6 assists, 9 rebounds, almost a triple double. Had 8 turnovers. This was just a disaster class um, the whole way through. Even when the game was competitive, um, the Pistons have just been not the Pistons. The Magic have just been more forceful and more aggressive this whole series. Essentially, the one game the Pistons got, I don't want to say it was lucky, but was just when the Magic weren't their mind wasn't in it. And then when the Magic have their mind in it and they're mentally there and their conscience of like, oh yeah, Paulo's a really good player, Franz is a really good player, and then you have all these bits and bobs around them. They're a really good team, and I said this in my last video when I talked about the Magic. I was like, this is why I had them picked for like 50 plus wins this season, 60 wins this season, because this was the team I thought I was going to get all year. And this was not the team I got all year. I got a completely different team than this Orlando Magic team that's playing in the playoffs right now. And then to come down the stretch for the Pistons, um, they they went a 4 minute stretch with no field goals, none, just from nobody. Um, and then we get to the closing minutes of this game, and you, the coach, is it JB Bickerstaff? I think it's JB, right? It's JB Bickerstaff. Um, Season on the line, you go down 3-1. The series is over. Your season is over essentially. Maybe you can get one more, but it's over effectively. In the next like 4 days, your season's over. 5 days, it's over. Unless the Magic shit the bed, which I don't think is possible at this point. But with the season on the line, Coach JB Bickerstaff of the Pistons decide, you know what, my season is on the line. Our team's season is on the line. I want the ball to go to Karis LeVert, who did take a three all game. He played 25 minutes, um, and took 1 3, and the 1 3 he took was the one to make the game competitive, and he whiffed it. And it could be because of the Magic's defense. That could be because of the Pistons' inability to get Cade open in those final minutes. Um, you, you have Duncan Robinson, you have Jalen Duren, you have Tobias Harris, you have Kevin Herter. You could have gone to so many more people other than Karis LeVert. And I'm not trying to like dog on Karis LeVert, but if my season's on the line, at least Duncan Robinson's known to be a very effective 3 point shooter. Jalen Duren can catch a lob, or whatever the case may be. Kevin Hurt is a really good shooter. Why are we going to Karis LeVert? Why is that what we're doing? Um, and then my last note here for this game is Pistons season over, question mark. So many problems with the offense as forecasted by so many people um, before the playoffs, and this is going to be a disastrous series loss for the Pistons. Number one seed versus the number 8 seed. This was not how it was supposed to go for the Pistons, and you could say, well, maybe the Pistons thought the Magic would roll over. The Magic have played so much additional basketball, and on top of just getting to these games in the playoffs, they played two playing games. They've played, was it 4 games now in the playoffs? By the time they get to the second round, they might not. This team might fall apart. But as of this moment, right now, they're riding the hot hand, and they're riding everything they can in their power to at least get to the second round, or they're gonna do that. And the Pistons have just fallen apart. And before I get to the Magic and talk about their stats for this game, I do want to say, um, I don't know what the answer is for the Pistons, because my immediate thought after this game, literally after this game, was like, well, if they're going to trade for somebody next year in this offseason, who would it be? And I was like, Kevin Durant. And I was like, no, Kevin Durant's going to ruin this team. He ruins every team he goes to. It's just been what he does now. And then I thought about Devin Booker, who was talked about at the trade deadline, talked about in the summer, even this past summer. Um, I like the fit with Cade and Booker in the backcourt, hypothetically, but I don't know if you can make it work. If it's gonna be Booker and Cade and Jalen Duren, you already don't have a lot around Cade and Duren. What is it gonna be when you have to add Devin Booker's contract to this team? I don't want to say anything's impossible, because over the past 5 6 years in the NBA, we've seen almost every trade possible and every shocking trade possible. So nothing is impossible. But in my mind, this Pistons team needs to reevaluate itself as a whole. And Jalen Duren's up for a contract, and you can't rely on, and Ashore Thompson has to take a step, and you can't rely on Tobias Harris to be your third or fourth guy. Your additional 20 point scorer essentially on a nightly basis becomes very hard and very taxing, especially on the team when he is so inconsistent as he is. Um, and maybe just refresh the offense, because I know it's fun to have Cade go out there and do his thing, but when he's the only one out there in these playoffs, it looks bad. He's getting doubled, and it does not look good. Shout out to the Magic, though. Been playing great basketball for like 3 games straight now. 18 for Paulo, 19 for Franz, 12 for Wendell Carter, 11 rebounds to go along with that, 22 for Desmond Bain. People were clowning on Desmond Bain all season, regular season, like this is the guy you traded for that was supposed to help you make the playoffs. Obviously, they ended up making the playoffs because they're in this situation. And he's been really good this series as a whole. Jalen Suggs, 5 points, 2 steals, 1 block. Um, and yeah, the starting unit did it for the Magic. Franz is questionable for the next game, the final game, in Detroit. So we'll see if he plays. I don't have any worries about the Magic really. I don't. I mean, they have this Pistons team's number, and there's nothing the Pistons can do in this moment. There is no like trade coming through like next game. The best you can hope for is Franz doesn't play and you get one more game. And you live to fight another day. But that's just not. That's just is what it is. Um, Moving on here. This is one of the quicker games I want to get through because one, I didn't watch it live, so I don't have any notes for it. I just watched the highlights, so I can just tell you what I feel and what I thought and like post game thoughts essentially. Um, but I do want to talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder beating the Phoenix Suns 113, 131. I read that backwards, to 122. The Oklahoma City Thunder are the first team to advance to the next round. They sweep the series 4-0. They won this game, again, 131 to 122. And I won't say this was a convincing game that they won. I would say this is a well managed game from the Oklahoma City Thunder. This is a very well managed game. A just a You just have to flex it a little bit in this game. They didn't have to work too hard for this win. Um, they knew what they needed to do this whole series. They At times they played around with their food, and they made the Suns look ridiculous. Um, this series became very personal for Shea for some reason. I don't know why he hates the Suns at now, but apparently he does. He made a post on Instagram that was kind of cringy, but what are you gonna do, right? For the game, Shea Gilgeous Alexander 31, Chet 24, Isaiah Hartenstein 18. Isaiah Hartenstein threw like two lobs to Chet within like the course of one quarter, and I thought that was really cool. I don't know why. Losing Dort 1, AJ Mitchell 22, Alex Crusoe 14, and then Kason Wallace 10. Um, the biggest thing for the Thunder for this series, the biggest thing is not winning this series because it's a 1-8 matchup. This is how the Pistons were supposed to take care of the Magic. Instead, the Oklahoma City Thunder do it to the Phoenix Suns in a 1-8 matchup as well. The biggest thing for the Thunder is that Jalen Williams got injured this series, and he might not be back next series. They do get a couple days extra rest because they did sweep this series, so everybody gets rest, including Jalen Williams, who we'll see what happens with him. He re-aggravated the same injury he missed a majority of the season for, so hopefully he plays. I'm not trying to I don't want the Thunder to win the championship, but I would like them to be fully healthy and play the best basketball they can against another team who's fully healthy, which isn't going to happen. But in my mind, that makes me feel better about watching this Thunder team just walk to the finals again. Um, and what else is there? Yeah, this was just a well managed game. They didn't stress themselves too much about it, and the Phoenix Suns really did try. They did. Like I said, I didn't have this game up. I didn't watch it live, but they did have the little scorecard in the corner when I was watching Magic versus Pistons, and I kept an eye on it, and it kept like the Phoenix Suns came back a little bit. They go back and forth. It's within 9. It's within 8. It's within 10. Oh, now the Phoenix now the um, Oklahoma City Thunder. I couldn't think of their name. Jeez, Oklahoma City Thunder are just up by so much, and they didn't even win this game by that much. But in the manner, and when I watched the highlights, in the manner that they took care of business in the fourth quarter was jarring. Um, and the Phoenix Suns have nothing to be disappointed about this year. This was a year where I thought they were going to be really bad. They weren't even going to make the playoffs. Maybe luckily a playing team to get bounced in the play-in. They made the playoffs, and in this game they left it all out there. Dylan Brooks 23, Devin Booker 24, Colin Gillespie 20, Jalen Green 23. Um, it was a hard fought effort, and they didn't roll over, and I respect that. But what is next for this Suns team? I don't know what's next for them. It's a very curious situation because um, I don't see them going to get another star. I just see them running this back. This was a great first year for head coach Jordan Ott as the Phoenix Suns head coach. No disappointments there. He did everything he could do as a coach, and yeah, I say you run this back, maybe get some better role players, and maybe you don't have to be in the play-in. Maybe you can be a little bit better. Because there was a point in which the series where they could have in the season where they could have jumped up maybe like 3 4 games if they could have won consecutively in a row and avoided the plan. So maybe you get a couple more advanced role players, a couple well polished ones. Players improve. I mean, if Colin Gillespie gets better, if Rasheer Fleming gets better, if Malawach gets better. Um, you should be okay. And Jamar Bouye gets better, you should be okay. I don't think there's anything you can do or you want to do that would upset the established order of this team because you didn't get a game on the champs, but at least you played them hard, and that's something to be proud of if you're a Phoenix Suns fan. So yeah, that's their season over. The first team to be eliminated, yeah, technically, yeah. So this next game, Minnesota Timberwolves versus Denver Nuggets. Um, this was another one that I had to watch. I picked it up during halftime because they were running 3 games at the same time. Um, and the Suns game was actually kind of interesting, so I had to watch the end of it, see if they could come back a little bit. They did not, obviously, and then I watched the second. Like I came in like the second quarter, or yeah, for this Minnesota Denver Nuggets game. Minnesota Timberwolves still without Donte DiVincenzo, obviously, still without Anthony Edwards. Um, where is he? Naz Reid injured himself during this game, or not injured himself. He got injured this game. He was out for a little bit and came back to the game. The Denver Nuggets won this game, 125 to the Minnesota Timberwolves, 113, and this game was full of everything this series has been full of. These are 2 teams that have seen each other a bunch of times, and they know each other very well. Obviously, this Minnesota Timberwolves team is a bit depleted at this point. Um, Still concerning for the Nuggets that this game was this close, and you couldn't just like beat the brakes off of them. Um, Picking it up in the second half here, or pardon me, the second quarter. Jonas Valanciunas was big in this game for the Denver Nuggets. Only with 9 points and 2 rebounds, but those 9 points were very much needed because those minutes without Nikola Jokic on the floor for the Nuggets have been disastrous all year. Um, Oh, I should say disastrous because he was injured for a part of it, and they did okay. They would rather have him in a playoff series than not have him on the floor. If they could play him the whole game, they probably play him the whole game. But Jonas Valanciunas did do very well in the minutes that he got, backing up Jokic. The Wolves fought this whole game. Um, the Nuggets kind of let them back into it. The Nuggets had some very convincing runs. Cam Johnson looked the best he's looked in a Nuggets jersey. He had 18 points, 2 of 7 from 3. He threw down 2 dunks, which I haven't seen him dunk in like 3 years. 5 points for him. This was indeed the Spencer Jones game. Spencer Jones inserted into the starting lineup. No Aaron Gordon this game for the Denver Nuggets. He had 20 points, 3 rebounds, 3 blocks, 3 steals. Spencer Jones game for the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 16 assists. That is a triple double for him. 2 blocks on the night as well. Jamal Murray, 24, and then Christian Braun, 9. Christian Braun, gotta start asking some questions about Christian Braun. Um, Jokic hit a clutch shot to end the half. And then this is when we get into the Spencer Jones third quarter masterpiece. He just was on fire. 5 of 5 from 3. Um, 7 of 9 for field goal overall. Um, the Wolves did have a lot of fight in that fourth quarter because they, if the Minnesota Timberwolves won this game, this series would be over. And they knew that, and they're very aware of that. And granted, their players tried. A lot of them did try. Julius Randle had 27. Jay McDaniels had 13. I would assume had 18. Naz Reid had 12. Bones Highland had 15. It was a valiant effort by this Wolves team, and at some moment I caught myself forgetting that if they win this game, the series is over. I lost myself for a minute because I was like, wait, that's right. If they do win this game, and that's why they were trying so hard because if you can just get out of this series and get a little more rest, you could get Ant back. You could get the team a little more healthy, and you could. I'm not saying you're gonna. I mean, what side of the bracket are they on? Is the better question. They would have to play the Spurs. So, but when you think about it that way, also, I would rather see Nikola Jokic versus Victor Wembanyama than Rudy Gobert versus Victor Wembanyama. So we'll see. Um, Nuggets still got to win two more games, one more in Minnesota, and then one more at home. I have a feeling this is gonna go seven. This is gonna be a dog fight, even without Ant, because this game proved it to me that this Wolves team can hoop, and this is with Jaden McDaniels having a bad game, Rudy Gobert having a bad game. Um, it's gonna be interesting for sure. Moving on here to yesterday's games. Um, Philadelphia versus Boston. The Philadelphia 76ers won this game 113 to the Boston Celtics 97. This was the shit the bed game for the Celtics. There's a little too much hero ball in here. I'll say, didn't really play Celtics basketball, we'll put it that way. Um, and this was the second game with Joel back for the Sixers. The first half of this game was fairly competitive, and then we start the second half, and Joel knocks knees with I believe it was Jalen Brown. He goes down, and I was doing something else on my other monitor, and I look over at the TV, and Joel Embiid is down grabbing his knee, and I think he's blown his knee out for the second time in the past like 24 months. That was not the case. He did exit the game. He went back to the locker room. He came back out. He did play. In that time, the 76ers did lose a little bit of their momentum. I think there was a little bit of mindset distraction there where they were like, is Joel coming back? Is he not? He did eventually come back. Um, and the Sixers, with Joel, did rally back in this game. Also, big game for Quentin Grimes. He helped a lot during this game. Came in 4-7 from three, 18 points. Finally revived, finally resurrected. Quentin Grimes played 24 minutes in this game. um, it was a good fight back from the Sixers, and the main thing about this was the hero ball for the Celtics. Jalen Brown, I understand this was your team for like half of the year. What was going on, buddy? What was going on? Same thing with the Wolves. It's like you win this game, the series is over. Now you have to go back to Philadelphia. Who knows what's going to happen in Philadelphia? And you have to win there, and you could have just won at home. It was kind of weird to see like both Jason and Jalen out there, and Jalen trying to do the thing he was doing all season, but also like kind of not forgetting that Jason was still there, but still like trying to do the hero ball thing. They both played 41 minutes, Jalen and Jason. Did not shoot the three ball particularly well, and as a team, they did not shoot it well. 11 for 39 as a team, 28%. Oh, I didn't know it was that bad. Oh, Payne Pritchard 12. Um, Everybody else in the starting lineup in single digits. I mean, Sam Hauser 8, hit two threes. Derek White, stinky game, 6 points in total. Um, Not the best. Not the best. And then maybe they come into the next game with the mindset of, okay, we messed up that one. We need to actually like lock in and play good basketball again. Because if we don't, this could go very wrong very quickly. I'm not saying the Sixers are going to beat the Celtics, but it could be elongated, and you don't want that. You don't want this series to be elongated by any stretch of the imagination. Um, Actually, we'll take a break from talking about these numbers real quick, and I want to talk about two because it's actually pertinent to Boston and uh, Massachusetts itself. Um, Native to the area, um, Cooper Flagg. It was announced that he won the Rookie of the Year over his college teammate Con Knipple. Congrats to Cooper Flagg. A really spectacular year from him. He was the first teenager to score 50 in a game during the regular season, the youngest to score 40. And he just had I wouldn't say a convincing year, but he packed it up nicely. And I came on here on this channel and I said, Cooper, you're gonna need to do something special, or else Khan's gonna steal this award from you. And then right after that video, he did drop 50 or 40, whichever one it was. So he proved it. Congrats to him. A bright future ahead for him, even though the nature of him getting to Dallas is a little dubious still. I'm happy for him, and he has a bright future ahead of him. And then also for the area, but actually for the organization of the Boston Celtics, Brad Stevens wins another Executive of the Year. Congrats to him. This is awarded to the best front office entity, whatever you call it, basketball operations, GM, whatever the title is they have. Um, NBA Executive of the Year, Brad Stevens. I really love Brad Stevens as a coach. I really hope he comes back and coaches at some point. Um, but man, has he been a really good basketball operations sort of guy as well? Because he managed this team very well, managed the Jason Tatum injury very well, not pressuring him to come back. So many positives for Brad Stevens. And yeah, that's it. Those are the two awards. Also, DeAndre Jordan won like the teammate award or whatever. I guess if you care about that, congrats to DeAndre Jordan. Shout out old man DeAndre Jordan. Um, Rallying here to the end, to the backstretch here. This is a game again I didn't get to watch because again we had three games on at the same time. We gotta stop doing that. New York Knicks versus Atlanta Hawks. Uh, New York Knicks won this game 126 to the Atlanta Hawks 97, and this was the Garden game. This is why you want home court because the Garden was bumping. Everybody was playing well. I use the word well, not great, well. OG Anunoby 17, Karl Towns 16, Jalen Brunson 39 in that fourth quarter. I watched the highlights. Ooh, ooh, that was some good Jalen Brunson. That was some good Jalen Brunson, man. Really good stuff from Jalen Brunson. Josh Hart 9 points, hit 1 3. Mikal Bridges 7 points, hit 1 3. I got questions, Mikal. I got questions. Jeremy Shohan played basketball in 3 minutes, 10 points. That's garbage time, I guess. Jose Alvarado, 12. And the Knicks, sort of similar to the Thunder. I don't want to say they were playing with their food or like managing themselves, but they went on appropriate runs when they needed to. Um, Carl has been very good this whole series. I want to give Carl a whole ton of credit. I know he's just playing against like a Neka Kung Wu and like some smaller bigs, and he's like the biggest player out there at times. But Carl has been known to play very small at times, and he's been very surprising this series, even though he's an all star and he's a really good player. Um, I hope he carries this momentum forward because the Knicks are going to need it, especially if they're going to play um, either the 76ers or the Celtics back again. Run it back from last year, Celtics versus Knicks. Yeah, very purposeful runs. Again, Jalen Brunson just doing his thing. Really great defense. It felt like it was a Tom Thibodeau defense again, even though Mike Brown's the coach. Um, Very good stuff. I'm using very good a lot. I'm so sorry. I catch myself doing that in these videos, and I'm like, you gotta stop doing that. Stop saying the same word over and over and over again, please. Um, and then for the Hawks, this wasn't a disappointing game. I mean, it was disappointing for CJ McCollum, 3 of 10, 0 of 2 from 3, 6 points. Um, but it wasn't disappointing for the young guys. It was just, it was one of those, this is one of those games, it's a growing pain game. This is the first time this group of the Hawks is in the playoffs in New York, in the Garden, and they only managed to get into the teens as a team. Nobody got in the 24. The Atlanta Hawks, 16 for Nneka Kongwu, 18 for Jalen Johnson, who played very well in the fourth as well. 10 rebounds to go with that for Jalen Johnson, 16 points for Nikhil Alexander Walker, 17 for Dyson Daniels. A much improved game from basically this whole series. Dyson Daniels needs to keep this up. Jonathan Kuminga, 13, had a crazy dunk. Was that this game? Yeah, that was this game. Had a crazy dunk where he like cocked it back and just threw it down on somebody's head. Really good stuff. And then yeah, this is just this is a young Hawks team. They just don't understand the moment, and the Knicks understand the moment. And the Knicks have the opportunity to go to Atlanta and win because they're up 3-2. Um, that's it. That's this game. That's this game. And then the last game of this series, in fact, um, San Antonio versus um, Portland Trailblazers. This game was so fun. I wish we could have gotten more of this, but I am happy the Spurs did indeed move on. As you can see, bottom left of your screen, Victor Wembanyama celebrating with his teammates. Um, there were some. This was a roller coaster of a game. I'm not gonna say the Portland Trailblazers, tucked their tail between their legs, but this young Spurs team surprised me so much, so much. There were moments where they showed their youth and they showed their like naivete and coughed off the ball at inappropriate times. Let a guy hit a shot, let a guy cut on the opposite team. Bring within striking distance because the final score for this game is San Antonio 114 and Portland Trailblazers 95, and it felt more close to 95 at times. It really did. Um, but in this game, the Spurs were so impactful for each other, just having each other passing the ball. And I'm going to say it, and I hate saying it, they were playing Spurs basketball, like OG Spurs basketball, moving the ball. De'Aaron Fox hitting so many clutch shots. We'll get to that in a second. But what really stuck out to me, especially in this game, well, not especially in this game, the moment that I was like, oh, this Spurs team is like really legit and they're here to kick some ass. Um, Keldon Johnson, sixth player of the year, gets the ball and just bullies his way to the paint. Fakes, bumps down there, bumps Denny Avdia, and just throws it up. And he flexes afterwards. And that was a moment, because Denny's a pretty large guy. And Keldon Johnson's large, but Denny's like longer and taller, I believe. And Denny was just like, what the hell just happened? And they were celebrating. I think a timeout was called. Everybody was hyped. The bench was hyped. That was the moment for me. I was like, oh, this Spurs team, they're going to kick ass. And they're going to kick ass in their next series because they're going to play the Wolves or the Nuggets. Um, there was moments in this game for the Blazers because they had some people in foul trouble or like the offense wasn't going. There were moments in this game where Robert Williams was the hub of the offense. Robert Williams the third, 11 points, one of three from three. He took three of them. He took them confidently though, and 5 of 10 from field goal. That was just a note because I'd never seen that before from Robert Williams. He was just the hub of the offense, and coach with the Portland Trailblazers coach was like, "Yeah, sure, keep doing it." um, and this game, despite the final score, was a blowout. It looked like a blowout at some point. I wouldn't blame you if you turned off this game like, "Yeah, the Spurs are going to win this anyway." It was a 20-point lead before halftime. Um, Complete 180 from the other games where they started slow and they picked it up in the fourth. They started hot and they kind of cooled off towards the end. Um, Great purposeful start for the young Spurs. It was impressive. The Spurs, when they're dialed in on both ends, very scary. Like Victor was on a mission this game, and like Victor is this nice guy, but he's getting some mean to him. He's getting some edge. He's getting some like what's it called? A roar. He's getting a roar to him. You ever hear a lion roar? Or when it's trying to learn how to roar, it starts, kind of like pathetic, and then it gets like really powerful. It gets really scary, like shakes your bones almost. That's what Victor's doing right now. It's kind of crazy. Third year, defensive player of the year, first playoff series win for Victor and the Spurs in this era. Really good stuff for him. Um, Denny, this like these past two games, Denny Avdia, the Blazers main guy, just like losing his shit for the second time in the row. Um, I don't know what's up with him. He just wants to be mad about stuff, which is fine. But like, play basketball, dude. You were 7 for 15 and you took six threes and only made one of them and had four turnovers. Like, don't hate the player, hate the game. Um, and then this is when the Blazers started to make a little comeback. I said this Blazers team is so annoying because there are moments where they just play like absolutely bad basketball, and then they like somebody like Jeremy Grant or like Donovan Clingan or Tumani Kamara will like go off, or Sidney Sudoku in this case, where he just went off in the fourth a little bit and got them within striking distance, and the Spurs said, no, no, no. Overall for this Portland Trailblazers team, as we get to the end here, um, Tumani Kamara 7, Drew Holiday 8, Scoot Henderson 5, uh, Matisse Thybulle 2. These role players need to be better. Not Tumani isn't even supposed to be a role player. Tumani, in his evolution as a player, needs to be better. This is unacceptable. Scoot Henderson, this is his first time really playing basketball again. He's came back at the end of the season. He's only played a couple games this year. I can excuse the bad game, even though people like to bag on him and whatever. Um, Also, Drew Holiday, like the one game they probably needed to maybe extend the series, Drew Holiday just like I just didn't show up this game. He had his mind on other stuff. 3 of 14, 1 of 6 from three, 8 points. Uh, just ran out of gas, I guess. Just ran out of gas. Um, and then Castle fouls out at a bad time for the Spurs. They managed to pull the win off on the back of De'Aaron Fox's a big shot after big shot. Shout out De'Aaron Fox. There were a couple days in there, a couple months in there where I was like, I don't know if De'Aaron's gonna be on this team long. Fox has integrated himself into this team wonderfully as the veteran leadership that actually plays on the Spurs team. So congrats to the Spurs for moving on, um, beating them 4-1 in the series. And then what is next for the Blazers, you may ask, because I like to talk about what's next and not just talk about the winners. We also need to talk about the losers. The second loser of this year's playoffs. What is next for the Blazers? I don't know, because the new Blazers owner is cost cutting. He's very cheap. I don't know how you're a cheap billionaire and you buy a team and you want to be cheap, but sure. The coach is in flux. He doesn't know if he wants to come back. He's probably going to get head coaching calls from other teams, so we'll see. And this team might be a weird team next year. Might be a little weird because the young guys on this team, Tumani, Denny, Donovan, Scoot, those are guys you keep. You keep Drew Holiday around maybe a little bit, Jeremy Grant, I would try in all my power to get rid of Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant's contract is so stinky. It's so bad. It might be heading towards the end of it now that I'm thinking of it, but you need to get him off the team. Worst case scenario, you run this team back with Damian Lillard, who's recovering from Achilles injury. And even if he's like 70, 80% of what Dame used to be, that's a pretty good team, I think. This collective group, instead of Scoot Henderson starting, no offense to Scoot, but like Dame, Drew, Tumani, Denny, and Klingon, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, last thing I want to talk about here at the end of this video, because we do have a couple extra minutes. I'm not going to do a full video about it. I'll probably do it when the draft lottery actually happens, and talk about the future of the draft lottery. But the NBA announced some revisions to the draft lottery, and I just want to get my thoughts out there. They suck. It's awful. I don't like it. It's called like the 3-2-1 draft revision or whatever. It's awful. I don't understand it. The draft has been messed up since 2019 since they tried to fix it the first time. And now they're just putting band-aid on top of band-aid trying to do something about it. And I'm an Adam Silver defender. I think Adam Silver's done some fantastic things for this league. The messing with the draft, the shady, giving teams, star players, not giving teams college young players that necessarily weren't supposed to go to that team. Cooper Flag to Dallas more recently. Awful. And I think this is something that there is possibilities that they revert back to the old way and they do this for like a year or two and then maybe they don't like it. But still, it's confusing, it's stupid. Like why are we doing this again? I understand like sure you don't like the draft lottery system now, you don't like teams tanking, whatever. But like this isn't the way. This isn't. And I'll talk about this more in depth when we get closer to that time. The revision isn't happening this year. It's happening for 27, but I will talk about it when the draft lottery for this year happens. So yeah, that's it. The end screen should be playing right now. Check out the video on the left. Check out the playlist on the right. Um, yeah, if you click my little icon, a little subscribe will pop up. You can click that and you subscribe and be the 16th or 17th subscriber of this channel. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Cheers.